A mother swears it's only hide and seek. Stay silent, no matter what she hears. Arwyn asks about the noise outside, then asks what's going to happen to her mother. Crying but smiling, the mother hushes her. Stay hidden until she says it's okay. The door thuds shut, and just outside, she flinches at the sound. A crash rings out, and Arwyn claps both hands over her mouth to keep quiet. Alone in the dark, she whispers for her mother, straining to hear an answer. A shape leans toward the crack, muttering that he can't see well, asking if anyone's there. She holds herself rigid, repeating her mother's promise in her head. Not until she says so. Behind the door, her mother lies collapsed in blood as a hulking goblin looms over her. Sniffing the air by the closet, it catches a scent that shouldn't be there. Its eyes go wide. It's found something. A massive hand reaches toward her from behind, low laughter rumbling in its throat. Something crashes through the dark before the hand can close around her. A boy slams into the goblin at full speed, tearing it away from her. He drives a blade into it as it clamps his arm, and Arwyn watches, fists clenched. Once it stops moving, he turns to her and asks who she is. Is she all right? He asks. He came to help, he tells her. Sorry, he says. They need to get outside. It isn't safe here. Scooping her up, he carries her past her mother while she cries out for her. Kicking another goblin aside, he races to get her somewhere safe. More of them close in, mockingly agreeing to count to 10 before they attack. He tells her to close her eyes and hold on a little longer. Weapon in hand, he faces them down and says it's time to begin. As the count starts at 1, he dodges through them, still cradling her in his arms. By 2, more of them swarm in from every side, and he keeps running. 4, then 5. He's already leaping across the rooftops ahead of them. 6, and a hulking goblin lunges closer, jaws bared behind him. 8, 9. He knocks one down without breaking stride. By 10, he's already outrun them, their fallen scattered behind him. He tells her to hold on a little longer. This far out, they should be safe. They stop to rest. She gives her name, Arwyn. He realizes he never gave his, Harten. By the water's edge, he rinses out the bandages while she quietly watches him work. He carries her piggyback deeper into the woods, leaves rustling all around them. Something catches his eye up in the branches, and he stops. Ever tried Nashiel fruit? He asks. Even the skin's good. She just shrugs a, yeah. Stretching into the branches, he strains to pull one of the ripe fruits loose. Armful gathered, he grins down at her, clearly pleased with himself. Then he hands her a bowl of the fruit. It's all for her. They both dig in, munching away at the fruit side by side. Without warning, she bursts into quiet tears, drops rolling down her cheeks. Through tears, she whispers for her mother, and he stands there not knowing what to say. He pulls her into a quiet hug, and neither of them says anything more. By nightfall, they've made camp, a fire crackling as she sleeps and he keeps watch. Her face looks calm and peaceful now, finally at rest. She remembers this, young Arwyn digging into her plate early, humming happily over every bite. Her mother sets down more food, sighing that the girl never waits or listens. Back at the campfire, she mumbles her mother's name in her sleep while he watches quietly. Morning comes, he greets her awake, then asks if she's ready to move on. He asks if she's ever come this far. She says no, it's dangerous, and he agrees. A massive horned creature looms nearby. She cheerfully calls it a birdie, and he agrees. Then more shapes emerge from the dark all around them, and his easy grin vanishes. The strange birds screech and take off after them, and they break into a run. Safe now, he says they've lost Polu, but she just looks crushed, missing her birdie. Then he perks up. The town's finally in sight. Below them sprawls an enormous city, and all she can do is gasp. They step into the crowded streets, and she stares around in wide-eyed wonder. Amid the busy crowd, she gawks at every stranger they pass, awed by it all. Dizzy from the commotion, she wobbles on her feet. He grabs her hand to steady her. They reach a grand building, and he tells her it's a safe place. A crowd of armored strangers greets him by name. Welcome back, Harten, while she stares, wide-eyed. Back at the guild, he takes a report while a small demi-human girl greets him shyly. More than 50 demi-humans have wiped out nearby villages, leaving one survivor. He wants them exterminated. The receptionist is stunned he won't rest, but he insists there's no time to lose. He asks the receptionist to look after the girl while he's gone. Her name is Arwyn. The receptionist greets her gently and asks if she's hungry. The girl quietly says yes. Harten manages a small, tired smile, and something about it catches her off guard. He gives her head a pat and says he's heading out now. He'll see her soon. Her eyes go glassy the instant his hand lands on her head. She opens her mouth to answer, but only a broken sound comes out. Then she screams that she won't let him go, and the receptionist freezes in shock. She sobs, begging him not to leave. He has no idea what to do. He walks off, and the receptionist promises the hiccuping girl she'll see him again. She keeps sniffling quietly, small and shaken, the fear still not letting go. Then, without warning, she bolts through the door, leaving the receptionist stunned. She slips outside alone, jaw set, refusing to just sit and wait. Quietly, she trails after Harten and the squad while the receptionist searches for her. Small, and unsure how close she's even allowed to get, she stops short. Then she calls out his name, Harten, as loud as she can. He turns back, and she asks straight out if he'll ever come back. Yeah, he tells her. He promises he will. With that, he turns and heads off with the squad toward the bandits. His fists clench as he walks on, while behind him, the receptionist kneels to comfort her. A memory surfaces. Arwyn once curled up safe beside her mother, laughing over her stuffed toy. Later, Harten stands with her again, her old stuffed toy now safe in his hand. At the forge, a pink-haired blacksmith perches on her work table, sizing up her visitor. Someone calls out to ask if he's Harten, and he stiffens, caught off guard. It's the blacksmith, still swinging her hammer, grinning as she repeats the question. He glances around the forge in silence, the blonde woman beside him taking it in too. "I'm Kiri," she says, pushing her goggles up, and adds that he looks plenty strong. An apprentice offers to make him a weapon herself, but the smith's already handling his order. A massive fist bonks her on the head. "Move it already, you damn brat!" She yelps and hops away, more startled than hurt. Then the smith announces it's finished, his weapon, ready at last. The smith scolds him for neglecting his armor, then hands over a hammer and spare plate. He leaves with his new weapon while the apprentice bows low, owing the smith one. Earlier, she'd begged to make one herself and got knocked down, told it's still too soon. Rubbing her head, she asks how the old man knows him. He never takes custom orders. The smith says nothing, just stares off, and she watches him go quiet. Lost in thought, he walks on, eyes half shut. A monster's claw closes around a boy's head while the smith looks on from behind. Further back still, a wounded younger smith cradles a crying infant amid the wreckage. Someone asks what's wrong. In his head, only one word answers: benefactor. He stands ready at last, a pair of massive cleavers gripped in both hands. Morning light slants through a gate as small footsteps pass beneath it. A half-elf woman leads two children into town, one hauling food, the other a bundle. They're welcomed warmly. Words already come in from the guild about their arrival. The escort says he's leaving her here for good, and she answers with a bright yes. He leaves, and she crouches down, introducing herself as Clarel, someone the girl can trust. Actually, she adds, she's an elf too, just half, and the girl's eyes go wide. She confirms the girl is Arwyn, greeting her properly at last. The escort says his goodbyes, and the girl waves him off, impossibly cute about it. Formal introductions, she tells the others, can wait until later. She asks whether Arwyn hates baths. The girl says no, so bathing comes first regardless. The girl protests, but she isn't backing down. Clarel scrubs her down hard, warning that skipping a proper wash means getting sick. She tells her to close her eyes while working suds through her hair. Then comes the rinse, and the girl yelps as water sloshes everywhere. She declares her all clean now, admiring the girl's newly fluffy hair. Then, with a flourish, she throws open a door. This is Arwyn's room now. The caretaker tells the new girl she's just next door, and to call if anything happens. She tells the girl to rest until the food's ready. Just call her Clarchan. Then she waves goodbye, promising to leave the door open. Alone now, she hugs a small, fuzzy creature close to her chest. Outside, birds chirp softly while she sits alone in silence. She stares out through the open doors, holding the creature tight. The little creature nestles closer, a tiny sprout on its head. She squeezes it gently. It squishes soft in her hands. Fighting tears, she whispers that she wants to go home, wants her mother, wants Poru. Two kids peek through the doorway, asking if she just arrived today. Startled, she flinches, caught completely off guard. The boy scolds his friend, but she's already introducing herself to Arwyn as Neyu. She bounces around, promising plenty to explore, while the boy simply offers his name, Ben. Arwyn manages a quiet, okay, though her new friend's already cheering with excitement. He points out the hiding spots. She teases him as boring, glad a girl showed up. She agrees, and the three settle on a game of hide and seek. Something monstrous suddenly leers out of the dark, right in her face. She breaks down crying, tears streaming, too shaken to speak. The two friends rush to her side, baffled, with no idea what just happened. The caretaker finds them there, announcing that dinner's nearly ready. She comforts the girl, sends the kids to dinner. The boy still asks if she's okay. The two quietly slip away, leaving the caretaker alone with her. He reassures his friend it's not her fault, though she still fears she's done something wrong. Watching her, the caretaker realizes nothing will help. This girl was once bright and talkative. There's little the caretaker can do for her right now, she admits. So she resolves simply to stay close, watching over her until some comfort finally returns. She tells the girl she understands that pain too, recalling her own brush with something monstrous. Someday, she tells herself, that will surely change. A lone warrior grits through the pain and swings anyway. That strength will return in her. He charges the towering beast, and somehow she knows that day will come. Rizra, a 19-year-old scout, comes to after passing out. 2 years an adventurer, and now she's about to die, a blade pressed to her throat. Earlier, out scouting for her party, she catches sight of an enemy first, as always. It looks off, but there's just one demi-human. She signals her companions to come. She figures one demi-human alone can't do much damage. Then a second one drops from the branches right behind her. The blow lands before she can react. Maybe she let her guard down. She can't believe she never even noticed it creeping up on her. As her vision goes dark, she spots her comrades rushing in to help. By luck, she'd joined a party of well-known veterans. Anything but weak. 2 demi-humans, one huge and one small, wipe out the whole party on a simple job. She'd always figured her luck as an adventurer had been pretty good. She always assumed dying like this only happened to other people. Maybe staying in the village and begging to survive would have been the smarter call. Held captive now, all she can do is stare out, frozen with fear. Then a rumble cuts through the air, and the demi-human freezes, alarmed. She looks up just as the creature senses something closing in. A massive blade comes crashing down out of nowhere. Debris rains down around her, and she can only flinch. She has no idea who this stranger even is. There stands Harten, panting and bloodied. She never saw him move, wondering if he's even human. Can she still move? He asks, and she manages a shaky yes. Don't head toward the town, he warns her. Hide somewhere, he tells her. Guild reinforcements should arrive soon. A relief to hear. Just passing by, he says. She's left wondering who this guy even is. Alone and sobbing, she wonders if she should quit. Everyone's dead, and she still isn't safe. A few days earlier, in the village of Normia, Arl, a young elf, heads off to deliver vegetables to her uncle, greeting little Mei-chan. Her granny fell yesterday and can't walk right, so she's helping out while her dad's away. That's sweet of you, Arl tells her, smiling. In Normia, a quiet village, a half-elf girl doesn't yet see the horror closing in. An orc grins, dangling a slain villager by the hair. Dozens more lie dead. Whatever peace they built here means nothing to creatures like these. Senseless violence tears it all down, leaving only devastation in its wake. The massacre ends almost as fast as it began, leaving the dead where they fell. A stranger finally arrives, rage plain on his face, far too late to help. Then he strikes back, ending the raiders' rampage just as fast as it began. By the time he's done, Normia lies completely destroyed, his vengeance too late to matter. Steel flashes through the dark, and the killing continues without pause. Now Harten dives into the fray, twin cleavers drawn and ready. His squad reaches the village, only to find it already burning. One orc goes down hard as Harten cuts through the front line. One of his men lies pinned, and 2 orcs move in to finish him. A masked stranger strides toward the fallen soldier, axe held low and ready. One of the orcs freezes, sensing him a second too late. 2 more spin around, startled, bracing for whatever's coming. Harten sucks in a breath, winding up for a heavy strike of his own. One orc just laughs it off, ducking clear of the blade. His eyes narrow in focus while the masked stranger closes in through the rain. More of them keep pouring out of the dark, an endless wave. Steel meets steel, the impact ringing out across the battlefield. Panting, he wonders if they're pouring in from somewhere else. Their numbers keep growing. He decides that question can wait for later. Right now, he just needs to cut down every last one. His squad opens fire with crossbows as the horde surges forward. Harten spots one aiming a crossbow of its own and tenses. These orcs move like a real army, not some scattered raiding pack. His blades whirl through the pack, dropping bodies in a blur. Beyond the ridge, still more shapes gather in the darkness. Then the masked stranger appears again, and the orcs round on him, snarling. Something massive stirs in the shadows, hooded, with pointed ears, one eye catching the light. Its face is wrapped like a mask, pale eyes wide open in the dark. Harten finds himself boxed in, 2 of the creatures swinging at him from both sides. He twists through the air, dodging blade after blade as more close in around him. One drops from above with a spear, aimed straight for him. Weaponless for a moment, he ducks and weaves, fists against steel. Then the bandit leader steps forward, flanked by 2 more of his own. Sword in one hand, shield in the other, he looks unbothered by any of it. Harten draws his own blade and charges straight into the fray. The leader's eyes narrow behind the wrap as his blade comes around. Harten's blade connects, cutting hard into the leader's arm. The leader barely flinches, and the realization shakes him more than the blow did. He's forced to scramble back as the leader swings again. Their blades lock together, steel screaming against steel. He's fast, faster than anything he's fought up to now. The leader doesn't even look winded. Around them, the whole fight spills into chaos, debris and fighters sent flying. Harten grips his jagged blade tighter, resetting for another charge. Rain pours down as he scrambles up over the broken ground toward the leader. The leader meets him midair, blade already coming down. Steel crashes into steel, the impact rippling through the rain. He barely gets his blade up in time to catch the blow. The leader's stare doesn't even flicker. The blade grazes past his face, and Harten flinches back in shock. He's strong, he thinks. Different from every other bandit here. The leader just watches him, silent, sizing him up. Harten swings down again, putting everything he has into it. The leader catches the blade barehanded, grinning like it's nothing. His eyes harden, and he grips down tighter instead of backing off. Their blades crash together one more time, sparks exploding between them. The impact throws Harten clean off his feet. He catches himself and glances around, wary of another attack. The wrecked battlefield stretches out around him as he pants for air. He plants his feet, chest heaving, twin blades still in hand. He wonders if that's finally the last of them. Are there any others left? He wonders, scanning the camp. Below him, the bandits he's cut down lie scattered across the wreckage. The whole camp lies wiped out around him. The job is finally done. For a moment, he just stands there in silence. He slides his blade back into its sheath. The battlefield goes quiet behind him, both cleavers finally sheathed. He's pretty sure this is the house, the girl's old home. The door creaks open as he steps into the dark house. Further inside, his expression darkens in the quiet room. Then something catches his eye. Her body's shifted from where he left her. Could she have survived her wounds after all? A strange light flickers beside her, and something else too. His eyes go wide. It's a spirit, he realizes, hovering right where she fell. She was an Eldrasil, one of the ancient elf tribe, so why was she living here? Gently, he closes her eyes and lowers his head. I'll bring you to your daughter, he tells her quietly. The small light settles near his blade, ready to go. He heads back toward the city, carrying her spirit along with him. The city streets stretch out ahead, unaware of what he carries. Arwyn sits quietly, holding her little furry companion close. He calls her name from behind. She spins around, startled. She cries out his name and rushes toward him, beaming. Old memories surface, her asking if the monsters were gone, if her mother would return. Something in Arwyn's face tightens with sudden dread. Back in the city, an official crouches down, gently asking after her mother. She asks if her mother is only sleeping, while workers scramble to find enough coffins. This is a memory Harten has replayed countless times, though the details always blur. He'd assumed the part of him that could feel others' grief had gone numb long ago. Back in the present, Harten slumps against a wall, worn down after days of fighting. Just for a moment, he lets himself sink back. Arwyn's cries for her mother still echo. An old memory pulls him under before he can stop it. Something jolts him back to the present, sharp and sudden. A hooded medic hurries over, alarmed to find him bleeding. Odd. This time, the memory feels unusually vivid. Further back, another memory surfaces. A different girl, crying for her brother, asking about her mother. Young Harten only stares back, unsure what to say. The line between memory and the present blurs around him. She keeps begging her mother to wake, voice rising into a scream. Arwyn looks back at him, breath catching around his name. He crouches down and says her name, hand held out to her. He tells her plainly he couldn't save her mother, and he's sorry. Arwyn crumples, sobbing harder than before. Her name leaves his lips again, softer this time. She screams into the grave marker, gripping the stone until her knuckles go white. Young Harten stands guard over her while a strange light crackles in the air above him. Elsewhere, elves spot the same strange light and refuse to stay passive. This happened once before. A pale profile watches the sky in silence. A cloaked woman and a hooded man share a startled murmur. The Revered Mage? The hooded man freezes, recognizing the aura at once. He knows it from somewhere. He just can't place where. Back in the memory, her tears keep falling, mostly hidden behind her hair. At the burial, an elf elder looks on as another girl gently calls out to Arwyn. At the coffin, all she can whisper is one word, Mama. May races through the woods, gasping, oblivious to the serpent behind her. She can't go back. The village is crawling with monsters. Arl's still out there. Caught in an orc's grip, she screams at May to get help and run. The orc yanks her by the arm and she shrieks. She begs the girl to hurry as the beast grins, dragging her off. May bolts off crying as an orc raises its blade over her friend. Then something connects. She drops, sprawled across the rocks. The orc closes in, its boot pressing toward her still form. The wreckage swallows the small child completely. She whimpers awake, aching everywhere. Half conscious, she calls out for her father, her grandmother, anyone. The orc looms back into view, blade raised for the finishing blow. Tears spill down her face as she realizes there's no escaping this. It reaches for her, and she screams no. Then steel flashes from nowhere, and the orc howls, struck from behind. Call it payback, the swordswoman snarls. These things never deserved better anyway. Stunned, Arl watches the killing blow land. The swordswoman asks if she's from Normia, then tells her to hide for now. She's Rizret, she says, learns the girl's Maria, and warns her, stay silent or they die. Then, just like that, he's back in the present. Harten pulls his shirt back on, alone in the quiet room. He rests a hand on his blade, an old habit returning. He pushes the door open and steps into the hall. The medic sets down a bowl of broth. He mumbles his thanks. She blinks, surprised. Didn't expect him to finish it all. Delighted, she notes he actually finished the whole bowl today. Then she flashes him a teasing one-eyed grin. Good job, she says, patting his head anyway. She says she'll be right next door. He just tells her to rest too. With that, she steps out and pulls the door shut behind her. Something outside makes her sit up straight, startled. Clarel carries in a tray. Relieved, the girl seems a little better. He thanks her for the clothes, insisting 3 days was enough to recover. She isn't convinced. She figures he'd rather book 3 inns than ask for help. Glad she got to help. The guild filled her in, she tells him, and clearly he pushed himself too hard. She knows he's strong, she adds, but that's no excuse to overdo it like this. He asks if Arwyn's all right. Flustered, she mentions a guild donation, then trails off. She's been eating more these days, she finally says. He just quietly repeats her name. No different from any other child at first, Clarel says. She cried constantly those early days. She wouldn't leave the bed for days on end either. This has to do with what happened, doesn't it? And that's why he's still staying here. He just blinks, caught off guard by the question. That's right, he confirms simply. She falls quiet, processing it. Well, she says at last, she won't pry for details. She just watches him for a long moment, saying nothing more. By the way, she asks, noticing his gear, is he headed somewhere? The door creaks open. Arwyn peers out, clutching her stuffed toy. Where are you going, Harten? She asks. He just murmurs her name back. She insists on coming too, but he's got something to handle alone, and he'll be back. He glances at Clarel. That all right? Of course, she beams back. Then, he says with a small smile, let's get going. Arwyn twirls to show off her outfit, declaring it perfect, until Clarel cuts in. Hang on. It suits you, he tells her, looking her over in her new gear. They head out together into the crowded market district. Something in a stall catches her eye, and she leans in for a closer look. Hand in hand, they weave further through the stalls. She eyes a nearby skewer stand, clearly tempted. She just stares up at him, saying nothing at all. He caves, holding out a skewer with a faint smile. She digs in happily, munching away without a care. Back in the city, Harten walks the streets with a small companion in tow. He munches on a skewer in silence, unaware of the cloaked figure watching from the shadows. At the guild hall, the clerk shakes his head, muttering about how times have changed. Whatever these creatures are doing now, he says, it barely counts as human behavior anymore. The report says the attacks look driven by simple predation. The deeper reason stays unknown. Neither targeted village was particularly wealthy, and this is already the second one destroyed. The clerk jokes that the attacker's brownish skin looks a lot like his own. She's unimpressed. Someone knocks on the guildmaster's door to report that Harten has arrived. Send him in, the guildmaster grunts. Harten assumes reporting at the front desk was enough. The guildmaster clearly expects more. Never mind that for now, the guildmaster says, waving him toward a seat. The elf clerk sets out a basket of treats for the little one. He admits Harten never seemed the type to want attention, yet here they are. The child happily munches on one of the treats. Something flies across a desk, and both guild staff flinch in surprise. Spotting the guildmaster's tusks, the child shrieks that he's a monster and clings to Harten. He quickly assures the child that's not a monster, while the guildmaster dryly asks to continue. Adventurers often carry pasts he'd rather not pry into, but this time, he needs answers. The guildmaster stares him down and demands to know just who he really is. 7 veterans fell to just 2 of these demi-humans, yet he took down all 67 alone. Explain right now, the guildmaster presses. Tell him exactly who he is. Harten apologizes and refuses to answer. The guildmaster reminds him he has a position to protect. It's not defiance, he admits. He genuinely has no memory of who he really is. He swears it's the truth, and trusts Illidan and the guild, but there's more to discuss. Discuss what, exactly? The guildmaster looks caught off guard. He explains they were tailed on the way here. The target, he suspects, is the child. The guildmaster falls quiet, studying the little one for a long moment. Any idea what this is about? It's complicated, he admits, promising to report back. As reward for the job, the guildmaster hands over 5 gold and 9 silver coins. The child's eyes go wide at the coins. Money, she breathes, utterly entranced. The clerk grumbles about charity-minded adventurers, paying out only what the bounty's worth. He argues he's causing trouble, but they wave it off. Payment for a consult, they insist. A silver-haired elf pauses before a door marked closed. She admits Harten seems kinder than she thought. The clerk scoffs, calls that rich. The road leads on to the blacksmith's shop. Kiri checks the battered cleavers. Wielding 2 wore him out against that many strong enemies. She asks to look around, and he allows it. Just don't wander far, he warns. Someone nearby asks if Arwyn's the kid from the village, and she goes quiet. Blades line the walls of the shop's back hallway. She peeks through a curtain and spots a goggled apprentice polishing a blade. The apprentice tenses, sensing someone watching. Who's there? She spots the girl by the door, demanding to know where she wandered in from. Must be a customer's kid, she figures, tagging along with Pops. Who'd she come with? She asks. Was it her mom? She freezes, the question landing somewhere raw. No answer, just glassy eyes, the smile gone from her face. The apprentice catches herself, sensing she's struck a nerve. He hands over payment as Kiri explains one cleaver's beyond saving, needing to be melted down. He insists there's no debt to repay, but Harten just asks him to take it anyway. Arwyn comes running, calling out to him. She tugs quietly at his sleeve, saying nothing else. The apprentice tells Kiri some kid wandered in all by herself. He says his goodbyes, but the goggled apprentice spots him and lights up at the sight. Both of them just stare, caught off guard by the outburst. He crouches to ask if she's okay, saying her name softly. She just murmurs that she's sleepy. He lifts her onto his shoulders, heading back through the streets as passers-by glance their way. He walks on with her fast asleep against his shoulder. Back home, she sleeps soundly, a small stuffed pig tucked beside her. He lingers a moment outside, looking back at the quiet house. The hooded medic lingers by the door, giving nothing away behind that mask. Harten watches through the doorway as the medic fades into the night street. Alone now, he sits in silence, still turning the night over in his head. Night deepens. The city falls quiet. Elsewhere, 3 hooded figures crouch on a rooftop, watching the streets below. They trade a glance, then move together without a sound. Below, a door creaks open, slow and deliberate, breaking the hush. Inside, a child sleeps soundly, unaware of what's closing in. Through another window, unseen eyes settle on a second sleeping child. One of the intruders straightens. They found who they came for. One of them presses for an answer, patience running thin. The crystal flickers to life in response. There's no mistake. This is the one. They're ready to move, child in tow. Then the door creaks open, someone blocking the way. Both freeze, alarm flashing across the eye slits of their masks. One of them lunges without hesitation, blade flashing in the dark. He barely reacts in time, eyes snapping wide. He catches the strike barehanded, sparks scattering off the blade. Steel grinds against steel in the scramble. He twists free, cleaver angled to turn the blow aside. He fights back hard, knocking the attacker off balance. The intruder freezes, staring up at a fist raised over him. "Put the kid down," he orders flatly. "Now," he adds, "and go back to wherever you came from." "I ask one thing," he says. "I've no interest in questioning you. Just get out of here," he finishes. "Leave her where you found her." "I'll handle him," one masked figure says. "You go." The other agrees and turns to run. The girl hangs limp in her captor's arms, still lost to sleep. He watches her slip away, jaw tight with frustration. The one carrying her vanishes into the night, leaving the other behind to fight. That one turns on him instead, blade leading the charge. He plants his feet, cleaver raised, and waits for the masked man's charge. The blow crashes into his blade, stopping just short of his own face. His grip tightens hard on the hilt as the impact rings up his arm. One counter sends the kidnapper crashing hard onto the stone floor. The kidnapper looks up in terror as the blade swings down at him again. He pauses over the fallen man, one hand moving to his own belt. He gives the beaten man one last warning: grab his friends and clear off. One curses his rotten luck. Meanwhile, another masked man asks just who Harten is. He kneels down to check on the sleeping girl he'd just fought to protect. Clarel rushes in, pan raised, frantic to know if Arwyn is safe. He assures her the girl's only sleeping. Safe now, completely unharmed. Clarel freezes, stunned with relief at the news. She sinks down in relief as he offers to keep watch through the night. Shaken, Nayu agrees to report the whole thing to the guild come morning. Still uneasy, Clarel wonders aloud if these were really just ordinary thieves. No one there has a real answer, not even Harten himself.